So the start list corresponding to their position in the Tour. Alex Harvey having a great Tour. He would cap it off if he can get back ahead of Dario Colonia. Those two having a fantastic ding-dong battle all the way through the Tour so far. Magnifica, the great mover yesterday, having finished second, and he's got himself up into a good position. 12th position for Andrew Musgrave. He's good on the Alchemies. We'll see what he can do tomorrow. Today, he has to try and stay in the top 15 if he's going to have any hope of finishing in the top 10 at the end of this Tour. Either way, Mike, Andrew Musgrave has worked wonders on this Tour, and he looks that little bit stronger. He's shown more resilience. Last year, I think at this stage he was gone.
And you need to be resilient. It's all the, I was going to say, the old timers, the veterans, the warriors who are still surviving at the front, and now Musgrave is in that bracket. He is a warrior. He is with the best. It's just small areas to change and improve on now.
Yeah, there was a day when internationals found themselves skiing next door to a Brit. They would immediately accelerate, embarrassed to be in the same position. Now they know that Musgrave is a match for just about any of them, and he's done fantastically well for British skiing as well. He's starting 12th today. There's Sumbi, the defending champion. He's got some racing to do over the next 2 days. Alex Harvey looks happier and healthier than he was at this stage last year, so maybe he can do something. I'm not convinced by his climbing as yet, Mike, and you see very little difference between one year and the next on the final stage.
Yes, it's partly to do with build and shape and tempo. And on the last day of racing, to be asked to go up Alpe Chamis is a huge task.
Can anyone get away from Ustiagov?
Well, I think today, you know, with the bonus seconds to pick up twice on track and then a third time as you cross the line, if the Norwegians work together, they might break him.
A little bit of atmospheric music before the start. I'm not sure what the delay is. Ustiagov looking impatient. Sumbi eager to get away. And a good start from the Norwegian. He's gained 2 meters on Ustiagov over the first 5. He needs to keep that sort of gain going all the way through the race, but it will not happen. So the 41 skiers left in the Tour are underway. 41, 42, I should say. Indiulis Biksa is still here for Latvia. Well, look at that, Mike. After a good start from Sumbi, Ustiagov put in a little burst, got himself in front, and he'll want to control this start to finish. Will he go for the bonus seconds? Does he need to go for the bonus seconds, or should he be thinking in terms of saving energy for tomorrow?
Oh, well, he's having such an amazing time, isn't he? 5 days, 5 victories. He's probably just thinking, well, I need to be at the front should the Norwegians make a break. I need to be able to react.
If we get another side shot of Ustiagov, have a look at the angle of his body. He does seem to lean forward a little more than most. Requires good strength from the arms. The danger often is that you then slip if you lean too far forward on the uphills in the Classic.
Well, yeah, and the techniques have become much more upright, and because they're waxing, there's less wax on the base of the ski, so you get better glide. And to do that, the positions are much more upright, especially on steep climbs. They make that hill there look easy. It's not. Skiing out of the stadium alone is quite a test.
Well, Andrew Musgrave, just trying to keep an eye out for him. He started 12th. The British suit a little bit like the Swedish, but instead of blue and yellow down the bottom, they have blue and red. You can see him just tucked in behind Marcus Hellner. Any advice for Musgrave today? Would you try and move up onto the... would you try and get into the top 3 or 4 so he's there to match any breaks that are made?
I think so, because it's so important on laps 2. There are 6 laps today on lap 2 and lap 4. I think Muzzy needs to. He's got a great turn of pace. He'll be thinking, I need to be in the action to try and get some positions back, try and get myself up into the top 10 again. And there he is. He's up the front. Surely that's his strategy. I believe it is his strategy to pick up some of these bonus seconds. Not this time round. The next time and the 4th time. Same lap. It's only 2.5 kilometers. This is a brutal climb. It's 22%.
Dario Colonia wearing 3. He'll want to get a win in this tour. Alex Harvey, maybe he's thinking likewise. Looking good on the right in red. Just behind him, that's Didrik Tønseth in bib number 9, who's a good classic skier. All the Norwegians are good at classic. They'd be expecting to move up. Looks as though, just looking down, is it Pepen of Romania who's made a good move in the early stages? I think it is.
It is indeed. And one of the athletes, can't quite see who it is at the back. They've obviously forgot their race bib, believe it or not. Look there. And
well, I think that may well be Indiulis Biksa.
Yes, maybe he's. Yep.
He's in the Latvian colours anyway.
He is. There's Muzzy, so comfortable, so strong, in about 8th position. This part of the track is now a lot easier through the field here. It's still up all the time, and then a very steep short climb before a long descent back down into the stadium area.
Well, Pepen's making a name for himself and showing no respect to the world's best skiers. He goes out front, but I suspect when we get to the next steep uphill, he might find himself struggling to stay with the pace. Tønseth is the man who has taken over the lead. Ustiakov on the far side. Mike, Ustiakov, 1 minute 34, so effectively he's got a, what, 750-metre lead, maybe even 800-metre lead over Martin Jonsrud Sundby. Do you think the Norwegian has resigned himself to being runner-up?
I don't think he must think, how can I turn this around? But no, I think he's just warming up into this race, keeping his eye exactly on Ustiakov. And I think Sundby, his bold strategy has to be to pick up the most bonus points today.
Yeah, he needs all of them, and he needs Ustiakov to mistime his sprint to those checkpoints.
And I think it was on this stage last year, Patrick, where Sundby did exactly that. He placed himself in the right place every time and hoovered up so many of these precious seconds to take himself way ahead.
Yeah, Sundby was, what, 2 minutes 51 clear of Northug at the start of the final day. So from 1 minute 30, he extended his lead by 1 minute 20 on this leg alone. He's got to do the same over Ustiakov if he wants to have any chance of winning. The two men had a similar time. I think Sundby took 19 seconds out of Ustiakov on the climb. Ustiakov's a different animal, as we see a full of 41 going down. That's Erik Bjørnsen of USA, and he's taken the Russian Petrosedov with him. Yeah,
and even this bend down the bottom here, another faller, German Suit on the right. Not a good place to fall. You lose all of that very, very fast pace.
Well, we've seen a few falls here over the years, Mike. It's the course here. We're in Val di Fiemme, the Valley of Fiemme, and of course the racetrack goes down at the bottom, up the side of the valley, back down again. It's a little bit monotonous, but it does make for some really tough racing. World Championships a few years back, we saw some dramatic stuff.
Incredible stuff. And this, on this particular climb, this is coming up back down into the stadium, and this climb is crucial. The last time around, the 6th time, there'll be some amazing action up here. Sundby's looking to his right. He's thinking, who on earth is that beside me? And it's, of course, Pepen.
Well, I think he was actually looking around to see if Ustiakov was still there, hoping that the Russian had taken a tumble. But that is highly unlikely to happen today. So Pepen leads, Sundby in 2nd place, Tønseth 3rd, Ustiakov 4, Harvey in 5. The big names are all there. We need to keep an eye also on Cologne. We need to try and track Maurice Magnificat of France, who's wearing 5. Still got a few French in the Tour. Jean-Marc Gaillard going okay.
And Pepen, we must remember, of course, as a junior, he showed his credentials, that he had great talent, placing so well as a junior at the World Championships.
And actually, Mike, Heikkinen's in a position, if he can attack and get some bonus points, he could well put himself in a position to take a top 3 in the Tour. He's obviously in the Finnish colours, Heikkinen. He's got bib 6. He was next door to Magnificat last time I saw him.
Yeah. I was thinking today, where there are 6 Norwegians in the top 16 in the Tour. I thought we'd see 4 or 5 of them up the front right now.
Musgrave's still 12, which is where he started, 2.3 seconds behind. That's nothing to worry about at the moment, but no one has gone for a break. Things will start to break up when we head for the first of the intermediate splits. 6 times round the 2.5 kilometre loop. They're going to be overly familiar with it by the end of this one. 2 Norwegians now teaming up the front, Tønseth and Sundby on the near side. I'm not sure this course suits Magnificat, Mike. You can see him in the middle of the group wearing 5. He liked Toblak, and he likes Toblak because of the gradual climbs. He's a beautifully efficient technician. I think cardiovascularly maybe not quite as strong as the Sundbys and the Ustiagovs, and when it gets steep like it is here, then it becomes more cardiovascular than it does about your efficiency.
Well, and I suppose as well the classic doesn't play entirely into his hand. He's definitely one of those rare athletes who are better freestyle than he is on paper classic. So two things against him today maybe, but he'll fight. We know he's a real fighter.
Yeah, all the biathlon races, of course, are in the freestyle technique, but the biathletes still do classic. 1, to give the skating muscles a rest. 2, because the requirements, the cardiovascular requirements for classic are higher.
Very much. And when skating came in and biathlon decided to go entirely skating, they were finding that yes, November they were doing well. After a great preparation, December they were doing well, but a lot of form would drop away, and initially they couldn't figure out why, and it was because of this new technique, and it suppressed almost your form. You need the heart and lungs in the classic.
Well, now they're starting to spread out. De Fabiani of
this is the bonus,
Italy is there as well, coming up to the bonus sprint now. Keep an eye on Ustiakov on the left of your screen. He's gone early. Sundby, I think, has missed the mark here. He's tucked in behind Alex Harvey, and that could mean a loss of points for him. Harvey's got the top spot at the moment. Tonseth's going for it as well, and I think Ustiakov easing off once he saw Sundby didn't go for it.
Well, Ustiakov took the wrong line. He was way wide.
Well, he came off the tracks trying to get through, and I think maybe he burnt up a little bit too much energy. He's picked up, well, there he is, down in 11th. Musgrave stays 12, so frantic action, and as far as I was aware, only the top 10 getting bonus seconds, so Ustiakov misses out on this occasion. That was a missed opportunity for Sundby. Top spot would have been 15 seconds, and very handy.
But what they might start thinking now is, look, Ustiakov, we're separated, we've got rid of him. I'm amazed that there isn't a break on now from the Norwegians to keep that gap, that separation.
You've got to remember they've done 5 days racing since the new year, so maybe they don't feel like making the break. Yeah, he's come out of the tracks, and I think he's been caught out by the change in snow conditions.
But also, Patrick, a real concern for the Russian team now is that Ustiakov, there's not an awful lot of grip on his skis there in the track. I think, yes, he went wide, but I think that's why. He was certainly slipping quite a bit there. Yeah,
it's a long way out to go for a break, but with 10 minutes racing gone, they've got another 20-25 minutes to go. The Norwegians, if they hear and find out that Ustiakov is 10-15 metres back, they might decide to go to it. And Sundby having a good look over his shoulder, just trying to suss the situation.
I think one of the coaches has said, listen, boys, react, keep this pressure on. Ustiakov is struggling. He's got no or little grip.
You're absolutely right. And you have to feel sorry for him, because going through his mind was, surely I cannot lose the Tour now. A minute and a half going into the penultimate stage, and he could so easily lose a minute, and if it stays this way, Mike, he's going to lose all the bonus seconds. So Sundby has got to get up there, and the Norwegians need to work together to put Sundby in top spot, but I can't see that happening. They're all pretty competitive.
This brings back memories on a bad wax day here. I think it was Legkov. It was one of the Russians.
Well, we've got another big climb coming up in a moment, Mike, as they come in to complete this second lap. There you see the overall rankings. The top 7 separated by 2:26. Keep your eye out for Musgrave. He should still be in 12th. 11th is Holland. 12th, Deerhaug's just moved up there. Musgrave in 13th position, 4:27 behind. If he can gain just a few seconds, he'll do well. Ustiakov trying to make up ground on the downhills. Not having grip on the uphill, Mike, generally means that your skis are quicker on the downhill.
Well, there he is. He's trying hard. He needs to find something special. Well, the wax is okay. It's working up this part of the tracks.
Is he starting to pay the price for the efforts he put in yesterday to get that victory? Not sure he is.
But look, Deerhaug is doing all the work out front, and I would imagine this is team orders. If any of you lads are feeling strong, drag Martin around. Oh, Ustiakov slipping badly. Look, there's no grip at all. This could go very wrong. Look at the Russians gathering around him. They can't do much. They can only give him some kind of psychological support by being there. But he's got his two teammates around him now.
Well, this is, to be honest, this is exactly what the Tour needed. The women's Tour is very, very tight. Only, what, 11 seconds separating the top three positions at the start of yesterday's Tour. And the women's Tour closer than it's ever been. We had a close one in 2010, another close one in 2008. But it's closer than it's ever been. So a really exciting prospects there. Osberg, Veng, we still feel the wind's going to go that way. Palmakovsky might be able to do something if she has a brilliant day today.
It's so close. Look at Dierhaug looking round. Where is Ustigov? He's struggling, and they'll keep this break on.
But he wants to share it.
Sumbi looking over.
Tunseth is being asked to go through. Doesn't seem to want to go. No. Ustigov still hanging on in there.
He's there, but he's got no chance, I don't think, for picking up any of the next bonus seconds, because he's got less grip on his skis.
Musgrave losing a few places on the way down into the stadium, or it might have been that previous climb actually where he lost some ground. Now Ustigov knows that he's got to go strong on the flats and the gradual uphills. He'll double pole his way around this one to save his position. I can't see him losing the lead, but if the lead comes down to less than 30 seconds, then we have a fantastic situation for the final day. The Norwegians need to gather round. They've got to fight together. Dario Colonia might help them. He's up there in the top four at the moment. This is going to be tough. The Swiss cowbells have been ringing and they've come to support Dario Colonia. We had them in Val Moster, and a lot of people from Val Moster have made the way over to Val di Fiemme to support the final stages of the Tour. I think we're going to have a great atmosphere up the top of the hill tomorrow, Mike.
Oh, it's like a party, isn't it, in the valley? Annually is now the 11th time of asking the Tour de Ski coming here. It's party time and a great spectacle.
Well, we've still got some 27, 28 athletes within 50 metres of the lead, and that's an indication that no one's gone for it so far. Where are they going to do it, Mike? It's easy sitting watching it. We've got to try and understand the fatigue that they're feeling after the previous 5 stages.
Oh, it's a huge factor. And although they've had 2 days off, the intensity of the races. Ustigov, what an athlete. He's back in the action. Because if I'm right, what's this lap? 1, 2, 3. No, it's the next lap where we'll see the next bonus sprints.
Well, unless the temperature starts to drop dramatically in the closing stages, and that's quite possible now that the sun has gone down, I can't see Ustigov's wax starting to work. It's either an issue that he's got the wrong wax, or probably more likely, Mike, he's lost some of the wax.
That's what I'm thinking. He's lost some of it. And, well, let's see. This is the steepest climb, and if there's any problems with your wax, this hill will find you out.
Sumbi, of course, won this race last year, 39.55 the winning time, and look who's back up the front. He starts the climbs well, but then starts to fade away in the closing stages. Colonia in the middle of your picture.
Oh, well, maybe Ustigov the next time this bonus sprint. Sumbi keeps looking over his shoulder, and Ustigov saying, hey, I'm back. So the pace, now that that's happened, Patrick, I think it's going to slow down a little again. They tried to break everybody. The Norwegians took that initiative, but with Ustigov back, it hasn't worked.
Great shot of Andrew Musgrave. Worked hard on his classic technique with his new coach this year, and it's certainly paid off. He's making a good impression, but this is going to be a brutal race. He's still only 20 metres off the lead. Sumbi back in front with Colonia behind him. The top 3 in the Tour are 1, 2, 3 at the moment in this race here in Val di Fiemme. Just a reminder of the results last year. Sumbi, Dierhaug, Polteranen, they took the top honours. De Fabiani, Krog were 4 and 5. Krog's withdrawn from the Tour this year. Alex Harvey finished in 7th, so he should be able to do something today. Ustigov finished 13th and lost 45 seconds to the race leaders, plus the bonus points. So it could still change, it could still swing in Sundby's favour.
Well, look at Sundby. He's realised that Dierhaug and Tunseth and Kruger, they're not going to help him. They've tried, but they're struggling with the pace. So now Sundby has to take all the initiative.
He's got to do it alone, but he has to bear half a mind on tomorrow's effort. He can't wake up tomorrow feeling like death.
No, he can't. It was interesting how far Ustigov had dropped back, and then Beshmetnik, his teammate, and I think it was Larkov, well, they're still with them. They came up beside him, they had a little chat, and it seemed to give him confidence. They must have said, listen, this is important, you've got to find something. And he seems to have got back into the race.
Yeah, Ustigov's skis are quick. He's not having to do anything on the flats and not a lot on the downhill, so should he be there come the end of the final lap, he's going to be very, very tough to beat if he's level with the leaders at the top of that final descent into the stadium.
He is. You need some grip up here. Boy, they make this look easy. It's so fast.
And there's quite a lot of loose snow down the bottom. Best line taken by Ustigov, who stays on the inside. So it's still Sundby 1, Ustigov 2, Kolonia 3. And then we've got two other Russians in there. Just waiting to see which ones it is. Beshmetnik must be in there. There's Alex Harvey on the far side in the red, just besides De Fabiani.
I felt that Alex, he is about, what, midfield. I thought he was suffering earlier. Maybe he's getting back into it. He needs to hold on to his fourth or move up a little.
Already 19 minutes on the clock. I don't think it's going to be quite as quick as it was last year. We're looking for a time of under 40 minutes, but there's every chance it could be a little bit over. But I suspect the pace on the last two laps is going to be fairly furious.
It is. Now, of course, Sundby's going to be thinking in his mind that bonus sprints are coming up in just 1 kilometre, so he'll want to try and stretch this again.
That looked like Sundby's double on the side of the tracks.
Brother Viking in town.
Yeah, that would be handy. You do a couple of laps. So back down into the Val di Fiemme Stadium that's been used for major championships for many, many years. They've hosted some tremendous events. Look at the difference in ski speed. That will be a concern to Martin Jonsrud Sundby. And the Tour leader finds himself out in front again. If Sundby's going to win this one, he's got to break away before the final lap. 3 completed, 3 to go.
What a race. All those further back, they're on survival. I think everybody, of course everybody's suffering right now with day on day of racing.
Well, a slightly increased pace indicated by the single file as they come round at the completion of this lap. The big names still there. Gaillard, Hellner dropped to 13th. Harvey dropped to 15th, but only 7.3 behind. Musgrave still in the top 20 in today's race. 12th in the Tour overall.
I'm just thinking, we've just gone halfway, you know. Now, if any of those in this top bracket are feeling so fatigued today, it doesn't really catch up until, what, about 8 kilometres, 9, even 10. So we might see someone dropping off in the latter stages of this race, one of the big names.
Well, the Russian forces are gathering. 1, 2, 5 at the moment. 5 moving up to 4. Are they going to try and get a breakaway at some stage? Sundby's still there, level with them.
Beshmetnik there in the middle. He's just up there, I think, to do everything he can for Ustigov.
Magnifica, we've got Magnifica actually being supported by Jean-Marc Gaillard at the moment. The two Frenchmen staying together. The only team that aren't really working as a team, Mike, are the Norwegians.
They're not. Did you see what happened there? Beshmetnik was in the middle. He jumped, he pushed a bit of pace, then jumped right in front of Sundby, who then nipped out of his inside track over to the middle track. I'm not saying he was blocking.
There's a bit of gamesmanship going on. Certainly there is.
Kolonia, he's really coming back into form, isn't he? He's up at that sharp end as well, all in black, bib number 3.
Yeah, he's not getting involved in any shenanigans, Dario Kolonia. He'll be happy that his main rival for third place, Alex Harvey, has dropped 7-8 seconds behind the pace of the leaders. You don't want to give Dario Colonia 8-second lead into the last couple of laps.
Remember when the world champs were here, the 50-kilometre, Colonia went at 8Ks with Ulson. Two brave men broke the field.
And then fell.
And then what, at 24Ks, half distance, he fell. Lost all that lead.
It's not often that a 50k race with a breakaway skier is much fun to watch, but it certainly was. Keep your eye on this one. Here we go for the bonus seconds again, and the Russians are mounting to try and take them away from Martin Jonsrud-Sundby, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Good teamwork from the Russians again. Colonia's getting a fistful of points. That will put him further ahead of Harvey, and we've got Sundby there in third or fourth. Didn't want to overcook it on the charge for the points.
Well,
and Ustiakov, has he been left behind again? Well, 8th position, so he'll pick up a few, and that might well break the field.
Well, that was interesting. I wonder, hopefully we'll see another look at that sprint. I certainly felt that Bersmetnik blocked the journey, blocked Sundby a little there, maybe by accident, but we've seen it before. The jury are quite tough on these things.
There's no doubt, Mike. There's massive rivalry, and the temptation for teamwork is just too great. There's bound to be something going on. The Norwegians aren't really helping each other. The Russians are, which in a way you respect, as provided it doesn't go to the stage where we call it cheating. But I tell you what, Ustiakov will be glad to have the company of two of his compatriots at this stage of the Tour.
That's right. I think the Norwegian coaches are saying to the other Norwegian suits, get up the front, help Sundby.
Holland it is, leading the way for Norway. The virtual overall Tour standings flashing below you. Musgrave's dropped 2 places so far today, down to 441, but he's still having a very, very good day out there on the classic skis. This is something that he couldn't have done 3-4 seasons ago, perhaps even last year. He couldn't have kept with the pace that they're setting today.
Norwegian suits are gathering again. They've found some energy from somewhere, and that's Dierhaug, Holland at the front. Dierhaug coming through.
That might well be Alex Harvey.
I think he's struggling.
Yeah, if he wasn't struggling, he'd be up with the likes of Dario Colonia. That's what he set out to do today. Stay with Dario, and then you still have a chance on the Alpe d'Huez tomorrow. Dario Colonia, actually, Mike, 3-time winner of the Tour. He won in 3 successive years. Well, in fact, it was Colonia, Bauer, Colonia, wasn't it? So there was one break. He won in 9, 11 and 12, and he's no slouch on the Alpe d'Huez.
He's good. He's so technically good. He's very, very efficient on the climbing technique.
Well, let's have another look at the Russian ski speed coming down into the stadium. Ustiakov last time had the quickest skis, and Russia go 1, 2, 3 on the descent into the stadium. Provided they get to the last lap with the leaders, then it could be a 1, 2, 3 for the Russians at the end of the day, because ski speed is crucial on this finish in Val di Fiemme. Three Russians, 1 Swiss athlete, formerly the world's best, and then 3 Norwegians. Behind them, Heikkinen of Finland. We've got Magnifica of France still in there. Number 11 is Francesco De Fabiani of Italy. And through the finish area goes Musgrave of Great Britain. Alex Harvey there in 18th. Musgrave still only just over 11 seconds behind the leaders in this race. Is this the break? 2 laps to go. Is he going to make it 6 out of 6?
Well, unheard of, really. What a tour he's having. I think he is. He's found some energy from somewhere.
Well, this is the stage of the last 15k where he made his mark, having sort of tempted Sundby into chasing him. That was in Oberstdorf. A little bit easier for Ustiakov in Toblach. He he could choose where he started, and he chose to go last, so he knew exactly what he had to do. Sumbi Mike back in 5th place, having done more than his fair share of the leading.
Yes, Sumbi just in behind. Was it? In fact, it was Larkov he was behind there. Hellner, I thought we might see some magic from Hellner. He's still at the sharp end, but he hasn't been able to react. I suppose when you really are on form, you're able to go for the sprints and keep out front. They're the strong men in the Tour.
What have we got? 11 men in that front group to fight it out. Maybe a couple more. The second group have now made contact. Heikkinen there, number 6. Heikkinen's been solid all the way through. Nothing really spectacular, Mike, but he's been pretty solid. 22.05 his time yesterday. Compare that to the 21.47 from Ustiakov, the winner.
Yes, Heikkinen, I think Heikkinen's going to be, after this, he'll probably rest up, miss some World Cups after this, and of course his focus now will be on the World Championships, after tomorrow that is, will be on the World Championships in Lahti towards the end of February.
Well, Ustiakov went into today's race with the biggest lead that anyone has ever had in the Tour, with 2 legs to go. But on the final day, we have seen a few changes. Petter Northug's lost the lead on a couple of occasions. Last year, it was Østberg of Norway who led at the finals for the women's on the final day and was overtaken convincingly by Therese Johaug. So it's not always the case that whoever leads into the final day wins. It's not like the Tour de France. It's no celebratory.
It's not, okay, hey, you can win, you start the last day in 1st position.
Yeah, I'm trying to think where they could drink the champagne during the 9 kilometres.
I think there's so much exhaustion in the lungs, or gasping for air going up Alpe Chamise tomorrow. They just can't breathe for a full minute after crossing the line.
Again, the top 3 in the Tour are 1, 2, 3 in today's stage. 30 minutes on the clock. Remember the winning time last year from Martin Jonsrud Sundby, 39 minutes and 55 seconds. At the halfway stage, Mike, we were 20-20, so we're still really looking for a finishing time of around 40 minutes, and that's with a fairly dramatic increase of pace on the last lap.
It certainly is. Ustiakov has raised things up a little. I'm just trying to see where Muzzy is now, Andrew Musgrave. Outside the top 17.
27.11 at 10 kilometres, so that's not particularly quick.
Well, the pace has slowed down a little now, hasn't it? The second batch of bonus points have gone. All that remains is the 15 and the 10 and the 5-second bonuses for crossing the line 1st, 2nd and 3rd. The French boys are still there. Magnificat, Jean-Marc Gaillard.
3.6 kilometres to go from this timing wand. And Ustiakov will be delighted that he's got this far. I think there would have been 1 or 2 butterflies in the Russian coaches' stomachs when they saw him slipping early on. Musgrave slipping back to 21st position. Number 15 going through, that's Florian Notz of Germany. The Germans, Mike, they've had success in the Tour. They won the very first leg with Toby Angerer taking the win ahead of... what was it, Ledkoff and Ostensen, but then Sommerfeld and Teichmann have both made podiums. Yeah, the Germans, a team that have really lost form over the last 7-8 years.
Well, as you mentioned, René Sommerfeld, 2008, he was 2nd. Axel Teichmann was 3rd in 2009. And then we haven't really seen much, although some German suits in the top 15 today.
Well, I hope half the prize money of 90,000 Swiss francs, which is what Ustiakov will win tomorrow if he is the first to the top of the Alpe Chamise. I hope half of it goes to his ski technicians, because they have worked wonders. Okay, he was slipping for a while. I can't quite understand how the skis can slip and then come back, unless, of course, Mike, the temperature it's dropped by, what, half a degree, but you wouldn't expect that to make the difference.
Quite strange. I think he's had to adjust his technique as well. You mentioned earlier how upright he was. I think he had to maybe come more upright to get the little grip he had to work better. Now he goes into the herringbone.
Yeah, he leaves the tracks earlier than Sumbi, who's still got good grip.
No.
He may read that as a good sign, but Ustiakov will battle his way to the top using the herringbone climb. It's a lot harder work.
But the next time round, Patrick, it'll be for the line, and Sumbi had good grip there, better than Ustiakov.
Well, they've got to get 10 metres, at least, maybe 15, even 20 over Ustiakov if they're going to beat him on the descent back down into the stadium. When the Norwegians can fall, you know it's tough. That's Simon Hegler Kruger, who had his first ever podium finish yesterday. That was a great effort from the youngster.
Really was. He's showing the talent that everybody knew he had by being able to remain in 7th position. He'll drop down after that fall. Now Ustiakov not quite breaking away from the field this time in. Not as convincing this time. Sumbi will be encouraged by that, and he knows that if he's behind Ustiakov at the top of the last climb on the final lap, then as long as he's close enough, he should be able to match the Russian on the way down the hill. But who knows what's going to happen? We've got 2 climbs before they come into the stadium. Mike, would you go on the last one? Would you go on the penultimate climb? I think you go on the penultimate, and I think that's what Ustiakov will try and do. He realised Sumbi had better grip on the final climb there, and he has to, I think, break Sumbi earlier, if he can. Well, look at that, the field has really broken up now. The pace is brutal at the front, and all these different changes of speed with the bonus seconds really take the sting out of your legs. Andrei Larkov trying to get himself back towards the front so he can help his teammate should it come to a tactical move. Besmertnik's still there. Cologne sitting in 3rd at the moment on the far side. Great race from Maurice Magnificat of France. We haven't really mentioned him. He's on that left-hand column and leading it up the hill, so he's in about 5th place at the moment. Still, we have 3 Russians in the top 6. A little slip leading into this hill from Sumbi on the right-hand side, bib number 2, but he's got it back together. Magnificat saying in an interview prior to this race, Mike, that what he wanted to do was to give himself a chance today to attack the podium positions. He's a good climber. He's a much better freestyle skier than he is classic. So the very fact that he's still up with the leaders today will keep him happy. I'm not sure how many bonus seconds he's picked up. Well, so do you know what? He's right, because Alex Harvey, remember, is having a bad day, so that's one man he's moved ahead of, so he's gone from 5th to 4th. Yep. And he's not a million miles away from Cologne. If he can beat Cologne today and take 2 or 3 seconds off him, then Magnificat and Cologne are going to have a battle on the final climb. The way things are at the moment, it looks as though Ustiakov is going to be this year's champion in the Tour de Ski. He will take at least a minute's lead into tomorrow's final stage. Sumbi has tried here today, but last year we would have seen him. We did see him break away from the field whenever he wanted. He's tried today, but he's not breaking the field anymore. This would have been a really interesting time trial, Mike. Tough course. Maybe yesterday, were there enough snow in Toblach, a mass start would have been interesting. But if we were going to see any real changes in the Tour standings, a time trial event might have enabled that. Do you know, I'm with you. And in the mindset, when you're absolutely spent, you're tired every day, when you're racing out on your own, it's a very different race. And that really would have found out those who are suffering. In a pack, you find survival, you find a way to dig deeper. One by one, they're dropping off the pace. Danny Rickardson is the last one to find himself struggling at the back of this group as they build the pace towards the finish. 36.50 on the clock. Last year, they only had another 3 minutes to race. It's going to be at least 4. We're looking for a time of just over that 40-minute mark. And Ustiakov looks to have put in a little burst. Sumbi over on the far side is going to have to be careful. And he's got Besmertnik in front of him again. We know what Besmertnik's brief was before the start of this race. Whenever possible, get yourself in front of Sumbi, and when Ustiakov makes a break, make sure he has to move and not you. Sumbi looking over, or maybe said something there. Big guy is Besmertnik, and I've always liked his technique style. His technique is very efficient. He's a good finisher as well. And still we have 3 Russians side by side as they work their way round this final lap. There's a definite increase in pace from Sumbi, and he's gone a long way from home. He wants to go at the bottom of this climb. There's still a lot of work to do. Ustiakov trying to respond, but there's not a lot coming out of the arms of Ustiakov. Every single second's going to be vital. If Sumbi wants to challenge tomorrow, he's got to put at least 30 seconds into the Russian.
Well, that's 3 or 4 that he's gained, but there's still some way to go, and the big climb could be where he makes his mark.
Oh, the lactic must be boiling in Sumbi's body. The arms really are super loaded now.
He's looking for a little fresh snow that gets slightly better grip, and he's got it. Ustiakov breaks into the herringbone early, but hangs on to second position. Kolonya's gone with them. Besmertnik can do nothing about it this time. He just can't stay with the pace. Magnificat drops 5 places, and now he's just hanging on in there, trying to stay within vision of Dario Kolonya.
What a turn of pace. Well, we were just saying last year that's what Sumbi would have done, and he just did it. He just can destroy fields when he really gets that mindset right.
But he's not got a lot of time left to pull the seconds back, Mike. Maybe he was conscious of tomorrow. He's coming back towards the stadium. He'll break down to his right, and then he's got that big left-hand turn, sweeping left-hand turn that's taken a few victims so far today. And then the final climb. He could get another 5 or 10 seconds. Look at the damage that Sumbi's done here. But Ustiakov's still in second.
Well, Ustiakov's skis are running well, but that's a great lead from Sumbi now, and Sumbi had the best, for me, the best skis up this climb. They didn't slip at all.
Well, that's another 15-second bonus for the Norwegians watching. They'll be hoping that Kolonya can get ahead, and they're hoping that the other Norwegian can get ahead of Ustiakov and take away the bonus seconds. Only the top 3 get bonuses. 15, 10 and 5 for first, second and third. And at the moment, the 15 are going to Sumbi, the 10 going to Ustiakov, and beside Ustiakov, is that Besmertnik there again?
Yes, no,
it's number 28. It's Andrei Larkov who's got himself up level with the leaders, but I can't believe Larkov's going to finish ahead of.
No, but Ustiakov is struggling. He's had to go way to the right now. Herringbone running up this final climb.
Okay, Mike, as Sumbi comes down towards the stadium for the final time, how much of a gap can he hope to close tomorrow?
I think that in reality Sumbi might still believe he could win if it's 45 seconds. It's unlikely, but he'll still think he can attack and do it.
Well, he's picked up about 12 or 13 extra seconds on Ustiakov already. He started today 134 behind. Keep your eye on the finish. Here they come. It's Sumbi clean in front. Heikkinen's gone into second. Ustiakov is in fourth at the moment, but Larkov's likely to step aside. A good sprint coming in from Nicholas Dierhout. That could be crucial as far as Sumbi is concerned. The win goes to Sumbi, but the seconds are what matter here today in Val di Fiemme. He gets his first win on the tour this season. He stops the run of success. Ustiakov gets second and 10 bonus seconds. So only 7 gained there. I think that will be a 15 to 20 second swing in favour of Sumbi. I don't think the margin's coming down much below 1 minute 15.
Well, Sumbi tried. He really tried to break it early. He tried to get rid of Ustiakov. He did at one point, but Ustiakov is just the man on form.
Well, he surely, Mike, is going to run out of energy at some stage. Maybe tomorrow is the day.
I think what we saw early on in this race, Ustiakov wasn't comfortable. He couldn't get pressure through his skis.
Alex Harvey across the line, some 38 seconds down. Here comes Andrew Musgrave,
well done,
hanging on in there. Classic race, just 44 seconds behind over 15 kilometres. He'll be delighted with that, and he limits the damage. There's still a chance that he could get into the top 10 because he is a very, very good climber. I'm not sure he's going to be looking forward to the Alpe d'Huez, but maybe more than others.
Well, he is. He's a great fighter on the hill, is Muzzy. And, you know, last year, I think if he'd come 120 behind, it would have been a happy day. His classic is much better.
So Sumbi takes the win, but his main rival finishes in second and limits the damage. Well, I hope you enjoyed the penultimate stage of the Tour de Ski. There's the man that's won, Martin Jonsrud Sumbi, his first Tour de Ski victory, and that means a lot. That will raise his spirits for tomorrow. Ustiakov is beatable. He's just proven it. And also, Mike, it extends his lead in the overall World Cup standings, which is crucial because he knows that if Ustiakov wins, which is the likely scenario tomorrow, then Ustiakov is going to pick up, 400 points compared to Sumbi's 320 or
320, yeah. 320, but yes, that means a lot to Sumbi to actually at last beat Ustiakov, who's taken 5-day victories, 5 days, 5 wins, except today, second again today.
Yeah, and Sumbi was the man who previously held the record of winning 4 stages on a single tour. 20th for Annie Musgrave, 44 seconds. The margins are pretty small down there. There'll be a couple of changes in the overall position. Hopefully we've got time to see that. Any other names? Just looking for those who suffered today, Mike. Graham Killick, who started the race yesterday for Canada, he's doing well. Only 1:31 behind today. Tunseth, we saw him feature early on. He blew out. He was trying to help Sumbi, so he sacrificed himself today. Finds himself 2:15 behind. And Pepen led for about 1.5 kilometres. No surprises to see him at the back of the results sheet.
It's quite strange, isn't it? Everybody's energised at the start of a race, and if the pace isn't electric or rapid at that stage, you can feel quite good about things. And I think he might be looking back and thinking to lead early on might not have been the wisest thing to do.
So here are the overall standings from 1:34. The margin's down to 1:11. Good work by Sumbi, but those extra bonus points, if he'd won both of the sprints, that would have been very, very handy. Really, Ustiakov limited the damage by finishing second, Mike. If he'd missed out on bonuses altogether, then he would have been less than a minute ahead, and I think he wouldn't have slept too easy tonight.
He wouldn't, you know, and of course he's exhausted. He's put so much, but the way that Sumbi celebrated, I wouldn't be surprised if Sumbi believes that he can take 1 minute and 11 seconds out of Ustiakov.
It's a long climb. He is quicker, but he wasn't that much quicker last year. Just 19-20 seconds between the two of them. And although not a lot changes in the space of a year, Ustiakov is a whole lot better than he was just before Christmas. Outside the top 20, he's been consistently finishing in first place. So that's it for the men's race. We've got the women's coming up very shortly. Do stay with us for that. So there's the start list for the women's race in this penultimate stage of the Tour de Ski. Remember, it's tighter than it's ever been between the top 3, and I can tell you that Parmakoski really does believe she can get into the podium and challenge the 2 Norwegians, Østberg and Weng. Today is the day for Parmakoski to make her mark. She's had some very good 10-kilometre classic races so far this season. She was quickest in the one in Lillehammer. She was quickest out in Canada at the end of last season. So don't be surprised if she can close the gap on her rivals in the Tour de Ski. Heidi Weng looking for a resurgence of form. She struggled a bit. There's yesterday's winner, Diggins of the United States. What a race it was. Something about the 5-kilometre freestyle that really suits her. Actually, I think the gradient of the course was perfect for Diggins as well. There's Stina Nielsen, who led the Tour for so long, found herself wanting yesterday, dropped a lot of time and a lot of places in the Tour. She's back to 3rd place, having led from day 1. Weng, Østberg wearing 2, Parmakoski wearing 3 on the 4 on the far side for Finland, and then just behind them, it's been a good tour so far from Nicole Fessel of Germany, number 8. 11 next door to her, that's Kerttu Niskanen, and the Finns have a good record in the women's tour. Koitinen, of course, won the first one and the third one. Saarinen's another who's done well on the tour. Really, the battle is between Weng and Østberg. Should either of them or both of them suffer, then Parmakoski has a chance. Here we go, 10 kilometres, classic style, mass start. Jessie Diggins of the United States on the front row. What a season she's having. Nielsen, the biggest, as you can see. That's not so bad today. It won't help her tomorrow. Well, it's a strange set. That's not a gun. It sounds like something going down a plug hole. But they knew what it meant. And they're underway. 31 at the back of the field. One of the American athletes, that's Rosie Brennan. The United States have done pretty well in the Tour this year.
I think they have. Yesterday with Sadie Bjornsson, Elizabeth Stephen as well, doing well. But the two Americans on the podium yesterday, first and third, quite outstanding. And no Norwegians on the podium yesterday.
First time, what, in 13 races or something ludicrous? First time in 33 stage World Cup tours, or actually in Tour de Ski races. So that's 33 stages of the Tour de Ski with a Norwegian on the podium. That record was broken. It was December 2012, so the start of the 2012-13 Tour de Ski. It was one of the prologues that Randall won ahead of Kaller and Kowalczyk.
Ah, of course it was. And that must, I'm wondering, what the Norwegian team, the camp around the table last night, the women's team, their spirit must have been down a little. They didn't make the podium. They're not making big gaps at the front of the field, with Nielsen really pushing them.
But on the positive side, they haven't collapsed like they did last year. Weng had a phase where she was really struggling. Of course, Therese Johaug looked as though she might lose the Tour come the last 3 days. She looked much better on the final day. But, I'm still starting to feel the Norwegians have paced it a little.
Yeah, it's interesting, but the outstanding star is the lady in white on the right. Is Nielsen. What was she? 24th ranked last year in the Tour de Ski. So far, she's done very little wrong. That first day was fantastic, where she led every sprint. We knew she was in form then, but I didn't think she could possibly do as well as she's been doing to this point.
Yeah, Nielsen's got herself up in the 4th in the World Cup standings, so she's doing exceptionally well. The top 5 actually in the World Cup standings, very similar to the top 5 in the Tour. Weng, Østberg, Palmakovsky, Nielsen and Diggins. In the Tour, it's Weng, Østberg, Nielsen, Palmakovsky and Diggins. So the same 5 women, slightly different order.
Now that's, I think, nice to see Kalle up there, bib number 12. Is she going to try and do some work to help Nielsen, I wonder? There might be some team orders there. But she's not renowned, is she, really, as a classic out-and-out Charlotte Kalle specialist.
Now, we saw a 5-kilometre classic mass start in Valmuster, and the Norwegians weren't able to break away from Nielsen by too much on that occasion. That race was won by Østberg with Weng in 2nd place. Nielsen finished in 5th, but only lost, 16-17 seconds. I think Nielsen would be happy if she only lost 16 seconds today, but remember, it's over twice the distance. 10 kilometres, 10,000 metres, and therefore 4 laps of this 2.5-kilometre loop.
I'm just wondering if we're going to see another different winner today, like in the shape of, certainly from Finland, we've got Palmakovsky, and I think Kerttu Niskanen today. She's good in Classic. I think we might just see a different winner. Unlikely, with Østberg, so much at stake for Heidi Weng and Østberg, and of course Nielsen.
Palmakovsky looking strong, and Østberg beside her further back down the order. The Italians, the Russian women haven't quite made the mark like the Russian men have. Yulia Shikalova is lying in 7th at the start of today. Any real surprises in the top 10?
I think mentioning Nielsen, last year she was 24th. She's been a surprise all tour, but she's a very different skier this year. Harsum, not as good last year, better this year. Stadlober, we've seen a lot of magic from her. 15th, I think that's very good for Austria and very good for Stadlober.
Well, a sudden change in pace, and the field being spread dramatically on this steep little climb. It's a punishing ascent.
Well, Palmakovsky dictating most, and I suppose they'll be thinking, part of the brains will be thinking, well, it's the 2nd lap of 2.5 where the bonus seconds count in the ladies' race. lap 2 only, and of course the top 3 at the finish. So Parmakoski already making sure she's towards the front.
Well, there's the fast descent, and you can see 1 or 2 nervous skiers. The snow ploughs going in, which in these conditions can be very difficult to control. A little move from Usberg, who finds herself at the front. I think she'll be hungry for a little bit of success today. She is, at the start of today, only 11 seconds off Heidi Weng. She needs a lead over Weng at the start of tomorrow. 30 seconds would be very handy indeed. Familiar figures at the front of the women's 10-kilometre classic. They've just gone through the bonuses. Nielsen picking up 15, Weng, Usberg, Niskasen. Parmakoski could have done with more than 6. She needed to be where Nielsen was. Bold move by Nielsen, Mike, and I think that shows some intent on her part in trying to finish in the top 3 of the Tour.
Oh, very, very much. I mean, that really is the 15 seconds on offer, but only for the best, and that's a lot of effort to have charged up the steep climb to get those 15. And then that's why the pace is now slowed down. That'll have taken, I think, that'll have taken Weng and Usberg a little by surprise.
3.9 kilometres completed. Are we going to see one of these athletes brave enough to try and make a breakaway, maybe at the halfway stage? Usually it's the penultimate loop. Sundby left it a little bit later in the men's race.
Well, Nielsen's slipping there. I know it's a very steep rise, but yeah, she's still okay.
But also, Weng in the middle, Mike, there wasn't a lot of room. When 3 side by side go into the herringbone, it has to be a very narrow herringbone, and Weng got into a little spot of trouble there. So next time round, I suspect we'll see her either going right or left to avoid some of the trouble.
Charlotte Kalla, bib 12, she must be asking herself a lot of questions. When, 10 years ago she came and won when she was 19-year-old, and not quite seen that form on the Tour since then.
Well, there were 8 stages in the Tour in 2008. We actually had 9 stages on the Tour in 2012. That was the one won by Kowalczyk ahead of Bjorgen and Johaug. Kowalczyk, since then, has sort of fallen out with the Tour organisers because there just aren't enough classic races.
You can understand that when she is a classic specialist, and this year, really, you gave us the percentages, what, 60-40, 70-30?
Yeah, the men's 35 kilometres in classic, 50 in skating. For the women's Tour, the total, Mike, the longest that it's ever taken is 2 hours 52 minutes. That was Kowalczyk in 2012. Just looking for ridiculous facts about the Tour de Ski. I do quite like the fact that it was 2014 before anyone with a surname that didn't begin with K actually won the women's Tour. We had Kuitunen, Kalla and Kowalczyk, of course, who dominated those early years.
Now you're digging deep. But what about the last 3 years? Norway, the 2013 Norway, 1, 2, 3. 2015 Norway, 1, 2, 3. 2016, 1, 2, 3.
Well, that picture of Dario Colonia is a bit like your Facebook page, 20 years younger than you actually are. It's about time they updated that. He's looking a lot older, but still skiing just as well. Dario Colonia certainly in a position to challenge for a top 3 in the men's Tour. Stina Nielsen looking strong. The Norwegian's starting to struggle a bit.
What about Shikalova, bid number 7, the first time in the women's field, a Russian leading? And ranked 7th. Only 2:57 behind in real time. Now, Heidi Weng, it's unusual for her to lose contact with the front. They may be struggling up that very steep climb, the last one.
Well, I think if Weng has got an Achilles heel and is vulnerable in any way, it's to do with the downhill. And as we saw from the men's race, there are plenty of tricky corners, there's lots of high-speed turns. That could cost her come the end of the day. Luckily for her, tomorrow there's not an inch of downhill, so she hasn't got to worry about that.
Well, but the trend, there's a wee trend down from the start. There's a gentle drop-off before the massive wall of a climb.
But nothing worth talking about in terms of technical skiing as we watch Shakalova just round the bend. And the end of the second lap. 5 kilometres gone. They're at the halfway stage. A time of over 30 minutes is a very, very slow 10 kilometres. I'm slightly thinking that the course is over length, but also thinking that they're wisely trying to conserve energy for tomorrow.
I think they are. And it is a brutal course. When you look at these relentless big climbs, they really take the stuffing, the energy out of the athletes. 25-19.
Elizabeth Stephen just ahead of Stephanie Böhler. Emma Viken going through in 26, wearing bib number 24, so she's lost a couple of places so far today. And well, the Finns are there. The Finns and the Russian suits very similar this year.
Von Siebenthal going to the front now. She's very good in classic style. From Switzerland.
Looks agile on the feet. The technique, Mike, it's more of a run.
It is, and it's when you're running on skis, you're using a little more energy than the more efficient sliding forward.
Yeah, she's not getting a lot of glide on the ski, but she looks over the shoulder, finds she's got 5 or 6 metres, might as well keep this going. That would certainly be a good one for the CV if she could say, I won a stage of the Tour de Ski.
At half distance, well, clearly she's feeling good. It's a bold decision, and she must be feeling very good to try and break the field.
Heidi Weng trying to go with her. Looks to me as though, is it Heidi Weng just behind her? I think it is, who's slipping a little bit.
Charlotte Kalla coming back into it after struggling on the climb before the descent, before the field.
Usberg starting to look as though it's hard work. Number 2, you can see her on the left of your screen. Compare that to Nielsen. And number 13 on the right, that's Anne Kaloinen, who looks very, very comfortable. I think Usberg starting to suffer, Mike. It's no wonder she's put up another fantastic tour, but it does look just as last year, as if she's going to be denied in the last couple of stages.
Well, that would be a real pity. Surely she can find something, some power back from somewhere, but I'm almost surprised that the big names are not too bothered about Von Siebenthal going, although she is ranked 6th at the moment, 2:51 behind.
Yeah, she's got 1:30 to make up on Jess Diggins in 5th place, so I think Jess would be more interested in saving herself for tomorrow's climb. Heidi Weng well positioned, Nielsen keeping an eye on Heidi Weng, and
a gaggle of Finns there, 3 side by side.
This is another tough little climb. Just Heidi Weng's technique, you can see her on the right, she's crouched over more than normal. Yes, I didn't think the grip was that good.
And that's energy zapping, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you put the effort in to get the compression and it slips away.
Yeah, compare it to Von Siebenthal, and she hasn't slipped at all. Nielsen's on a good pair of skis as well, and showing great strength on the uphill, using those long legs to good effect.
Now, I was just thinking earlier, what would Nielsen need to take into tomorrow? What advantage would she need on that start line to lead to win have a chance of winning tomorrow? And I thought she might need at least 35 seconds, because she's not as good a climber as Usberg or Heidi Weng. But she'd need to break away.
Still Von Siebenthal leading, a little bit late in proceedings, but if you're looking out for Sandra Ringvald, if you're a supporter of her, then I can tell you she's withdrawn. She would have been wearing bib number 15, so disappointing for her to pull out in the closing stages.
I think you're onto something with Usberg struggling right now. She's in about 15th position.
One or two familiar figures still up the front as we look at Von Siebenthal leading the way. Heidi Weng seems to have settled down. She's had a few problems with the skis. One or two people, including my informant in Norway, feels that the Norwegian women didn't have good skis yesterday, Mike. They were losing between 10 and 15 seconds on the descent down into the stadium in Toblach. That's another mistake they've made, if that is the case. But I know their doctors have all been sacked for various offences. Is it likely that we'll see a change in the technicians?
I'm wondering if you might, because not only the glide yesterday, when the glide's bad, but every other millimetre on the snow you're working harder, and we saw that with Nielsen easily gliding down the hill ahead, and now Østberg is really suffering in this race.
And a huge surprise to see Stina Nielsen leading the way.
It is, and I think that's Niskanen up the front. I felt she was going to have a good one today.
Heidi Weng, the winner here last year. There's Østberg, who's just lost contact with that leading group. She's got to try and get back on the flat section, but doesn't look as though she's got a lot to give. And if she fades, Mike, that puts Stina Nielsen up into second. I think she might already be there. Parmakoski will now be that little bit more confident about finishing in the top three at the end of this tour.
And you're talking of skis, when your skis, as in yesterday, the mass start aren't gliding well, as I say, you're working so much harder. The descent is one thing, but it's the amount of extra effort you're putting in on all of the rest of the journey.
Nielsen, despite being the tallest in that leading group, didn't have any problems with the left-hand turn at the bottom of that fast downhill. One or two have been killing the speed on the approach to it just to make sure they get round. So Nielsen on the left, wearing the black and yellow bib. Number 7, that's Shikala of Russia, who took her turn at the front. Kiloinen is there as well, number 13.
Yeah, she's looking good, Kiloinen. I expect maybe we'll get a turn of pace after they go through the stadium for the final time. There'll only be 2.5 kilometres left when they get back down through the stadium.
We haven't talked about Jessie Diggins, Mike. She's still hanging on in there. Yesterday's winner. She's only 20 metres, but Jessie Diggins is starting to slip, and she won't be looking forward to the last lap. Winning time last year, 29 minutes, 16 seconds. What were we at the halfway stage? I'm just struggling to pick that up. But I think we're going to be a little bit slower this year than last year.
Now look at Weng. Weng, it's on the climb, so it's an indication of how you're feeling when you're losing time on the climb. We did see her skis slipping as well. Well, maybe the Norwegian technicians have got it a little wrong again.
Well, Stina Nielsen started today 16 seconds off the pace of the leaders. We wrote her off on phase 2 of the Tour de Ski, saying she had no chance of winning. But if she gets the yellow bib back or the red bib back as the Tour leader, she will start to believe that she can do something. The Norwegians are tired, and what are they going to be able to do in the next 18 hours before the start of their final stage?
Oh, it's difficult to get that feeling back. I'm sure you've done day-on-day races, adventure races over 5-6 days. It's very difficult when you've got a bad day or you're feeling fatigue building, culminating all the time. It's a difficult one to pull back. It then goes down to really spirit and mind power.
10 coming through with the white headband. It's not Østberg, it's Harsum who's trying to hold, but another Norwegian has been dropped. We've already seen Østberg dropping off the pace, and Nielsen's the one doing the damage. She goes in front again. She's got another good pair of skis on. That has been a feature all the way through the Tour. I can't think of a single day when her technicians have got it wrong.
They've done an excellent job, and the weird thing is that Nielsen has got good grip on the ups, yet she's still got fantastic glide on the downs. So whatever they've done, maybe she's got the super stiff pairs of skis on so that she's gliding well, but she definitely has the grip.
Yeah,
but Nielsen needs to break Weng by a few more seconds if she can.
Weng on the far side, lying in around 7th place at the moment, but definitely slower on the climbs than Nielsen, who still looks very, very comfortable. Parmakoski doing well. She knows that this is a crucial day for her if she's going to finish in the top 3. The Finns will be happy that Kiloinen's there as well. Parmakoski on the left wearing 4th, Kiloinen on the right wearing 13, and Nielsen it is still who is setting the pace. Extraordinary, and the Norwegians have found it so hard to shake her off. Callah's in there as well, Mike. She looked dead on, lap number 3. She looked exhausted.
Isn't that incredible? But she's got good skis. When all the others are slipping badly, again, the Swedes have got good skis. Usberg is losing so much time now. And look at Jessie Diggins, what a fighter. Skis might not be working, but she keeps on fighting. Or gripping, should I say.
Well, now they'll start to jockey for position.
Kalsina, another of the Russians, bib 23.
Well, the pace still isn't brutally fast. They've had a couple of little injections of speed. One in particular for the points at the intermediate. No sign of Usberg. Mike, last we saw, she was some 22 seconds off the pace of the leaders. Nielsen is still in there. Parmakoski is there. Weng on the left of your picture. Those are the 3 main contenders for the top 3 in the Tour at the moment. And if Usberg loses more than 30 seconds, she will really struggle to finish in the top 3. And that would be bitterly disappointing for her, obviously. Number 12, Charlotte Callah. Nice to see her coming back. On the men's side, Mike, Callah sort of doing the same sort of thing as Dario Cologna.
Yes, I think so, without a doubt. And she's really, how did she find that energy? And look at this evidence of the skis. And we saw it with Heidi Weng. The skis have got no grip left, and that's a whole lot of hard work. I'm amazed that they've got this. They've got it wrong. The others have got it right. They really have got it wrong today.
Look at the difference when you've got good skis. That's Fessel just blasting past Usberg without any trouble at all. And Usberg's going to be a spent force in terms of the arms, and that's going to be a factor when it comes to tomorrow.
If it was the men's race, the men can use their arms more freely, at least get some speed, but not so much strength there in the women's upper body. And Weng was losing a lot of pace there in that last climb, and she'll lose a whole lot more on the final climb before the stadium.
Well, how about this? We've got 2 Swedes in the top 3. The Norwegians have been the dominant force in the Tour over the last, 1, 2, 3 years. They got a 1, 2, 3 in 14. They got a 1, 2, 3 in 15. And they got the same again last year. So 3 years of a clean sweep on the podium. That is not going to happen this year. There's no way that Harsum can get near the podium. And Usberg's in danger of not finishing on the podium tomorrow as well. Nielsen going for a 4th win out of the 5-stage, or the 6th this will be. 6 stages.
Look at Heidi Weng. No grip at all. She had to go so wide, slipping madly. There'll be an awful lot in every Norwegian paper.
There'll be an inquest tonight, I think. And I'm just wondering what's going through Heidi Weng's mind at the moment. What she's got not to do is blame the technicians. She's got to think of a way of limiting the damage in terms of time lost to Nielsen.
Indeed. I mean, others are struggling with the grip under their feet with their skis.
Well, you would have got good odds if you'd said the lead will swing again at the end of today. Heidi Weng, the quickest on this stage last year, now finds herself in danger. In fact, with Nielsen, if Nielsen wins this, she'll pick up 15 bonus seconds, and that alone will pull her up level with Heidi Weng in the Tour.
Absolutely, and it looks like Kyllönen at the moment is well placed, well for 2nd, maybe even 1st. And then I think that's, of course, Callah in 3rd, and Parmakoski's in there somewhere.
Nielsen hangs in, and from 500 metres out from the finish, you wouldn't back many women to beat Nielsen because she's an awesome sprinter. Now she winds up that double poling power. She's got 1 hill to climb. Kyllönen will desperately want to make a name for herself here, and Kyllönen usually a slightly quicker climber, but Nielsen sprung so many surprises on this Tour that maybe there's yet another one to come. The biggest of all would be if she could end up winning this Tour with a fantastic climb up the Alpe d'Huez tomorrow, but I still think that's unlikely.
Well, who knows? Who knows with what's happening today? There's Heidi Weng desperately trying to close or limit this break, this gap.
Weng is some 50 metres behind. There's no doubt that she's going back into the red bib, Nielsen. because she's now at the summit of the final climb. All she's got to do is stay on her feet down into the stadium here in Val di Fiemme, and that will be victory number 4 out of 7 on the tour this year, something that none of us would have predicted. She has been outstanding.
Well, all the way back, the only podium in the Tour de Ski was when Charlotte Kalla won in 2007, 2008.
Well, we had a 3-day tour in Lillehammer at the start of the season. Nielsen finished 1 minute 26 behind Heidi Weng, and that was over only 44 minutes of cumulative time. So to see her leading the way here, quite phenomenal. She's going to take the win, plus the 15 bonus seconds. Parmakovsky, is she going up into third? She may well do. We have to keep an eye on the time set for Usberg.
Well, I think she was at least 35 seconds behind last time of looking.
Parmakovsky started today 20 seconds behind Stina Nielsen, so she's lost a little more time to her. She was only, what, 25 seconds or so, 24, 25 behind Usberg, so I think she will have gone up into that position, 9.4 behind the leader. Heidi Weng finishes 17 behind, so the margin by my calculation will be 16 seconds, with Stina Nielsen leading the tour. She'll be first out of the trap at the start of the final stage tomorrow. Phenomenal work for her. We will get you the overall rankings once we've flashed through the final results of today. Fessel 105 given away, Usberg 108 given away, so Usberg drops out of the podium positions in the Tour de Ski, having been there right from the start. Now, is that going to fire her up for tomorrow, or will it put her into a mood that she can't overcome? And the standings: Nielsen 19 seconds clear. It's a little more than I thought. Parmakovsky in third, 53. Usberg now 123 behind. Still a good battle to be had between Parmakovsky and Usberg, but Usberg was wanting the win in this tour. That looks highly unlikely now. Weng still the favourite, but she's going to have to make up 20 seconds on Nielsen, and Nielsen may well stretch that to 30 before the climb even starts.
What an amazing tour it's been. It's brilliant. Other nations getting in there, and big surprises almost every day.
So tomorrow, the final day in the Val di Fiemme, it's the climb up the Alpe Chamis.